All right, welcome Buddy Book Club. I'm Dylan here with the pod doctor, Keith. What's up, buddy?
You have fantastic eyes. What a great movie this is. I can't wait to discuss.
What did she say? She's like, I like your lips. And he goes, they like you too.
I'm talking about when the creepy dude comes over and...
Oh, yeah. Chip. I think his name's Chip. He's like, my friends call me Chip, which is such a weird way to say hi. But anyways, hey, here at the Buddy Book Club, we'll break down some box office bangers. And this week we'll be discussing 2005's box office hit and Keith's number one rom-com of all time, Hitch. If you'd like a recommended book or movie for us to read or watch, you can visit our website, buddybookclub.com, or slide into our DMs on Twitter or Instagram, Buddy Book Club Podcast. You can listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, so please download and subscribe. I'm actually kind of mad we don't have my buddy Bill on as a guest. He's in Sydney right now, but he is not only the biggest Will Smith fan, but like the biggest Hitch fan. He, like many of the other girls in our dorm, had the Hitch poster on his wall. So
wait, what?
Yeah.
I never saw a Hitch poster on anyone's wall. I love that. I might have to order one right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're seeing the posters of like Breakfast at Tiffany's and Marilyn Monroe and then Hitch. There's no way you're seeing that.
Audrey Hepburn or Hitch.
Yeah. There's no way. But I love that if that's actually a thing.
He had it over his bed, which is hilarious. Just so weird. Okay, before we get started into the categories, Keith has written extensively about rom-coms on the buddybookclub.com. You can go there to read his full blog, which is probably like 2,000 words. Insane. But he used that blog to set up rules for what a rom-com is. And considering this is our first rom-com on the Buddy Book Club movie side of the podcast, I'd like to discuss that before we get into the categories. The blog was, which I had to scroll back a ways to get to, April 20th, 2022. Your rules are, there's three rules. One, the movie must be PG-13 or under. Can you explain that quickly?
Because basically people will be like, Wedding Crashers. Wedding Crashers is an amazing movie. It's a comedy. Or 40-Year-Old Virgin, or any of those movies that are...
The things used on here were Knocked Up, There's Something About Mary, or Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which I would say, if you didn't have this list, There's Something About Mary and Forgetting Sarah Marshall are two of my favorite rom-coms, if that's...
But those are comedies. That's not fair to compare those at all.
100%. PG-13 or under, it has to be for the whole family. I couldn't agree with you more. Number two... Rewatchability is key.
I don't know what I said here.
I think it is a good point. Rewatchability when it comes to a rom-com.
Oh, for ratings. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, agree. You know, it needs to be able to, you throw it on or you see it on TV and you have to be like, yep, well, I gotta keep it here. If you're just like, nah, then it's not a good movie. It's not a good rom-com.
With a rom-com, because they're so derivative, like you even say in here, like they have the exact same formula, we have no problem with that. That's something that we look forward to in a rom-com. It's supposed to be light and enjoyable. There's not supposed to be like twists and turns. It's just supposed to be, you kind of know at the end they're going to get together and it just happens in a slightly different formulaic way. Having the scenes in between that are super fun and enjoyable is what makes a rom-com great. And I will agree with you there as well. And then the last one that I actually do need you to explain, third one, is the turning point / reveal must be great. And you say this is probably more a rule I just believe in, but the turning point must be a perfect combination of funny and sad. 1 second you're laughing, the next second you're crying. A rom-com needs to nail this to get on my top 5 list.
Agreed.
I'm going to come at this podcast of Hitch with these three things in mind. A, crushes it. It's PG-13. Good for you, Hitch.
We're on fire.
We'll talk about the other two as we get into the categories. So let's start, Keith. What do you have for stock up?
Stock up, power suits, power ties, power steering. Listen, this stock is like my 401k. I'm going to put money into it every week. Every time the paycheck comes, I'm putting it into it. This is one of my favorite lines. I use it all the time. Anytime someone talks about power, I somehow bring it up. I love it. I laugh every time I see the clip, every single time, no matter what. And it's funny about this movie. I know I'm going to gush here, but there's a ton of cheesy lines, but they're all funny to me. I don't know why, because there's a lot of rom-coms that take themselves too seriously. I don't think this does. I think the bad guys aren't too bad. They're not overly like villainous. This guy's like just a douchebag, right? The Vance Munson,
Roy Munson's
but
cousin.
you can laugh at him because of that, right? It's like funny that he's bad. But most like villains or bad guys in rom-coms, you like them until the last second, and then you're like, oh, he actually is a dick. Oh no, like this guy's just straight dick. So you can laugh at his lines.
Yeah, usually it's like the backstabbing friend or something along those lines where they turn you into your boss or your boyfriend, whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny to me. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but
okay,
stock up on it. I love it.
I had it in my hates, so.
Oh my God. Do you just not enjoy like life or comedy? Like, what's your deal?
I mean, there's going to be a lot of this probably in this pod, but can you explain the comedy to me? Because it's, okay, power, I get the guy, total douchebag. I get the character, okay? Power suit, power tie, I understand. Power steering, I don't understand. Like, it's not funny, or
it's the essence of comedy, I would say.
Because it's so out of left field.
Yeah, for me, the funniest things are things you don't see coming, right? Like in comedy.
I think it would have been funnier maybe if immediately after he said it was like a cut to Will Smith's face of like pure confusion or something along those lines, because it's like, wait, power steering, like every car made since 1974 has power steering.
I know. That's what makes it better, kid. Just don't think about it too much. Just realize it's amazing.
Oh, trust me. I am not thinking about much when it comes to Hitch. And for the record, I told you beforehand, but I watched the movie last night with the wife. We sat down, we enjoyed some popcorn and watched Hitch together. I wanted her insight as well, because I knew I was going to be the dissenting opinion of the Supreme Court when it came to this one. And I also came at it with an open mind, though. I really did. I said, you know what? I remember it not being one of my favorite movies, but I know a lot of people that like it. So, hey, let's give it a shot and just enjoy it. And then I had my whole rating system last night, and I said, did I not give it enough credit? I'm going to listen to this movie as I do yard work today. So I re-listened to the movie. Obviously, it's a different experience because you're not seeing what's going on. But I just need to make sure that my feelings were there. So I just wanted that to be clear before we get into the other stuff. My first stock up is stalking. That is with an A, not the things you put on your feet. It just seems like this is the kind of client that Hitch wants. So he can pick and choose whoever he wants. He's the dating doctor. He has references out the wazoo, and they pay handsomely based on his beautiful apartment. But he seems to only want to take guys who, yes, they are in love. There's no question. But they're on the borderline of stalkers and also on the borderline of straight up murderers. Kevin James's character is like head over heels about the most famous celebrity ever, and he's like telling her, oh yeah, I know all this stuff. But like, have you met her? Like, kind of. Okay, did she talk to you? I gave her a pen once. It's like, oh, all right. And then Vance Munson, granted, he's a total dick. I 100% agree. But he at least met this woman organically. So he's saying, I met her at a lingerie store and I need to see her again. That's his motivation. I mean, I know that his motivation is to bang her, which we'll get into later. But he met this woman organically, randomly, happenstance, and now needs to see her again. Didn't stalk her on the internet, didn't give her his pen, whatever the case is, didn't need a dog there to swap out so that he can pretend he got hit by a car. All of Hitch's other guys are really potentially breaking the law. And it seemed like Roy Munson's cousin Vance Munson here wasn't doing too bad.
Let me stop you here. This is the problem, kid. You're coming at it at an angle. You're an outgoing, affable, good-looking guy who's never had this issue where you're shy or you're reserved or you're nervous or you don't want to talk to someone you think is above your pay grade. And that's why you don't understand this. You don't understand like the shy, reserved guy that is too nervous to go up and talk to someone. You've always had the talent, the skill level.
Couldn't agree with you
You're
less.
a 5-star player out there. You're a 5-star tool player, kid.
No.
Some of us guys out here just buttons trying to get on base. That's the difference.
No.
You don't understand, kid. Some of us need to grind and hustle. And it helps to have a guy like Hitch come through and be like, yo, you can hit with the big boys. You can go up there and swing.
In my rapscallion days, I was both shy and not confident. I did not.
Here we go.
I did not have like talking to
This is
women.
like Reese Witherspoon being like, "Oh yeah, like you should have seen me in high school," and she looks exactly the same. She's like, a 10 out of 10 in high school. She's like, "I was a loser and nobody really taught." It's like, get out of here. That's you right now, kid. You're Reese Witherspoon right now, and that's one of the worst things I could possibly say about someone.
What else did you ever stock up?
You're not going to defend that.
No, I disagree. That's it.
You said rapscallion. I don't know what that meant. It's something to do with like reptiles.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's exactly what I said, David.
You're gonna hate this one too, but I'm gonna keep the stock ups coming. Stock ups toasts, like before doing a drink. I mean, that thing fires me up more than a good toast.
Oh, okay.
Nowadays I feel like I haven't really heard many. It's usually just like, all right, to D-Man and his birthday.
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
But back in the day, I remember when you first started drinking. There's like legit toast.
Yeah.
People give like
friendships and tall ships and ball ships and friendships and friendships. Yeah.
And I won't lie to you, D-Man. I've done the Hitch toast.
Oh my
and
God,
it crushes
please don't say you did that.
time.
I'm talking to you right now like when the medicine woman's name, Allegra, when she's telling Hitch about the inhaler, and he's like, "No, don't tell him he showed you that." She's like, "Oh yeah, he threw it right away for kids." He's like, "Don't tell me you actually did the Hitch toast. Don't tell me that."
It crushes every time. Well, what really happens in my mind, it crushes. I start doing it. I completely mess it up halfway through. And then I start laughing to myself, and everyone's like, what? And I go, that's from Hitch. And everyone's like, all right. And we just drink. That's how it happens every time I've done it.
Then they drink the flat beer because it's taking you 20 minutes to say the stupidest toast that's ever been created.
Yeah, that's right. It's funny to do a really cheesy toast when people think you're going to give a funny toast, right? I don't know. I like it. Anyways. Stock up to toasts.
Okay. My stock down, toasts. It was actually in my stock down. Was this fucking toast. It's like, Hitch, shut up and drink the wine. I mean, I've heard of letting wine breathe, but this thing has breathed for so long, it's breathed its last breath. The wine is wasted. This Spanish wine you bought for Sarah is completely wasted because there's two of you there. What are you doing with this? To cheating and lying? Oh, what does she think is going to happen? She's like, oh, wow, he supports cheating and lying. And he's like, only cheat on death. It's like, oh, good God, he's so romantic. It's like, oh, this fucking guy. Shut up, drink the wine, move on. What are you doing? Terrible toast. Terrible toast. To cobras and condoms. I don't fuck with either of them.
I don't like that. You do the unoriginal ones that everyone's heard. If you bust out a Hitch toast, that's hilarious. I think that's funny. That's the difference between me and you, D-Man. You're a 5-star Tool player. I'm in the dirt. I'm in the mud, looking for good toasties.
What else did you ever stock up?
Last one, quitting your job. So stock up on that. Typically, I feel like when you quit your job, it's like not the best. But in this instance, you quit your job for everyone. You get a date with an heiress who would take care of you financially forever, and potentially end up getting to marry her. So. Yeah, quitting your job, I guess, is it's back on the market.
Yeah, agreed. It worked out really well for him, for sure. Mm-hmm. And he did it in such meteoric fashion. It was amazing to see, and it's something that I feel like all of us at some point wish we could do. Just waiting for that Powerball to hit so I can follow suit. But
fuck you, you're cool.
Yeah, exactly, half baked. I didn't have any other stock ups. So.
Yeah, I know you did. You had one stock up? Jesus.
I tried. I really did. I listened to it again to try. I could. It's okay because I have 5 stock downs. We already got rid of toast, so you go with yours. What do you got for stock down?
Moral high ground, stock down. So let's just assume Alec Hitchens is exactly who Eva Mendes thinks he is. The guy that's just helping people get laid. Is that really worse than being a gossip columnist? Like, I don't really think so, in my opinion. Like, she has this moral high ground, like, how dare you do all this? He's not going out there and, like, drugging girls. He's helping people that are, like, nervous Nellies get confidence, essentially. That's all he's doing. But, like, women have their own minds. It's not like they're, like, this easily tricked people, It's almost, like, degrading to women to be like, this guy goes out there and tricks all of them and does this. And, like, no, he's just, like, giving these guys advice. Whether it works or not is up to, like, the woman, It's not really... I don't know. I just thought it was like a weird thing. And her to push it back in his face, being like he's this awful person, when she literally writes stories. And she quote her, she says, I don't need any evidence. I'm not the DA. I can make stuff up. Like when she was talking to Vance Munson.
And on top of that, she has Vance as a source, and her source is really just 2 seconds of talking to him. And then afterwards, she doesn't try to follow up with anybody else who's had his service, doesn't even give the opportunity for Kevin James's character to make a statement, like, I'm going to use you in this article. That's usually what happens. Like, hey, I'm posting an article in 2 hours. Would you like to make a statement? 100% agree with you. And it kind of ties into my first stock down, which is dating coaches. And once again, it's like, why is Hitch getting so much shit for being the dating doctor? I don't understand what's wrong with his approach. He says, you can't manufacture what you're not. If you're shy, be shy. If you're outgoing, be outgoing. Whatever the case is, just be you, which is great advice. And he also goes on to give even more sound advice, which a lot of people don't do that you could take into consideration, which is to listen to what the woman is saying on a date. She's the person you're interested in. She's not an object of your sexual desire.
They can be easily manipulated and tricked, the man, apparently. So, according to even Mendes.
Yeah, it was odd. Honestly, I didn't really understand why she was so upset with him. And it also doesn't make any sense because Vance said, who needs a date doctor? It's something along those lines. He just said the word date doctor. It wasn't like, thank God for that date doctor. Gotcha. It was so innocuous. It could be anything. It could literally be anything. Yeah. And she just construed
Well, her friend does mention a date doctor earlier. So it's like they planted the seeds there.
Yeah, I understand that. But at the same time, it's not super clear from what he said that he used the date doctor. He could have just known about him too. And then she immediately goes on this crusade against the date doctor for this one situation.
She's a gossip columnist, so it's a good gossip, right? Like that's what her job is, which again makes her job worse in my opinion.
Leave it to the girl in the rose code for the gossip, okay? Keep doing what you're doing. Don't let the man drag you down. Also don't know why he said he had to quit his job at the end, or he wasn't a dating doctor anymore because he got exposed. It was like, you're just going to get more clients. This is actually great publicity for you. So what are you talking about? My next stock down is waiting 3 dates before our first kiss. Hey, to each their own persona.
Must be nice not to be approved, huh?
Everyone can do what they want to do there's no hard and fast rules. But I'm just going to say, if you watched Hitch and you said, hey, that's the case, I just want you to let you know that according to research conducted by Oxford University, the chemical makeup of saliva helps your body decide whether the person you're exchanging it with would produce strong offspring. So, hey, guys, ladies out there, you don't have to wait 3 days. Maybe just a little kiss. Let that saliva exchange. If your body tells you it's good, then continue on. I'm not saying take it further, but...
Daily 5-star talking here again. This is what we get when we get a guy that has all the gifts.
I'm just saying, Kissing also burns 6 calories a minute, so it's basically a workout. Additionally, studies show it reduces cholesterol. So if you don't want to die or have a heart attack, don't wait. Start kissing. Although we do have to respect Hitch here for his 90-10 rule, because in our last podcast of The Sandlot, we gave a stock down to consent, but stock up for consent potentially here, because the 90-10 rule is the best way to go about attempting to kiss someone without becoming a sexual deviant. It's basically consent because they have to go the 10%. If you go 90 and they just don't go the 10, it's like, okay, cool. That's a good way to do it, as opposed to just saying, can I kiss you now, or something along those lines.
Did you also see that, and this is after my 50th watching, I noticed this, but she goes 90-10 when they first kiss.
I did notice that.
Which I was like, oh, so that's kind of planting the breadcrumbs that his advice isn't necessarily great. It's just he doesn't even follow his own advice. Right?
Yeah, 100%. He doesn't need to follow his own advice. I also want to just quickly say, before I let you go with your next stock down, that Will Smith, when he was mad at Kevin James for kissing him, Will Smith pretty much went 90, and then Kevin James went 10, and then Will Smith got all mad that Kevin James kissed him, and I'm pretty sure Will Smith wanted Kevin James to kiss him. I'm just saying that here. He wanted him to kiss him, and then he got all freaked out about it because he liked it.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, peck on the lips, it's not to get that angry at.
Well, we'll see. Next time I see you, I'm giving you. It's coming for you. What else do you have for stock down?
Dancing advice, stock down, and I will apologize for this. I think we had talked about this prior, and you had said that the advice he had given was bad. On second rewatch, I agree, because dancing, I think the biggest thing that you notice, and this is also might be because of the liquid courage I always have, but the people that look bad on dance floors are people who just don't want to be on the dance floor, that don't like dancing or don't want to be dancing. If you go out there and just have fun, you could be the worst dancer of all time. No one ever thinks it looks weird. It's just, oh, this person's having a good time. Like, that's awesome. Like, that's it. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
Where that's what Kevin James is doing. And he's like, no, don't have fun. Like, be like, look like this. And he looks terrible when he's not having fun. So I disagree with the advice. And I agree with you.
Appreciate that. Thank you for agreeing with me when it comes to Hitch, because we don't have many of those in this time around. But it's supposed to be spontaneous. You're supposed to be just letting loose, having a good time, whatever that means. And I definitely spent a lot of time in middle school and high school at those dances, concerned about how I looked or whatever. And I probably looked terrible because I was concerned about it. If I just danced however I went, let the music flow through you. That's what it's all about. It doesn't matter.
Also, have you been to like the country bars where they line dance?
I have.
I don't get it. It's like the dumbest. I don't know. I don't mean to insult all of our country line dance singers or
Casper,
people.
Wyoming, buddy. Casper, Wyoming. Watch out.
It'd be like going to a military parade, and that's the same thing. Is you're just doing a march. I'm like, why is this fun for people to do this? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to yuck someone else's yum, but here we go. No, like Cotton Eye Joe and stuff like that, when that used to come on when we were kids, I didn't understand that either. It was just like a choreographed dance that you go through. I don't
mind it for like one song comes on and everyone knows a dance. That's fun. But literally, if you go to these country bars and they do the line dancing, they do 10 songs in a row of just this like routine thing. And this is the opposite of what dancing is supposed to be, right? It's like, you're supposed to just go out there and have a good time. This is like, let me make sure I'm getting my steps down, and it's like, where's the fun part of this?
We used to go to one in Boston, like after bowling night, we go to the country one, and everyone would all start line dancing, but like I wanted to dance, but I couldn't dance because I didn't know the song. It was like super inclusive and weird, so I would just dance and people would get mad at me. But at the same time, I will say that I'm sure if you're in the scene, that there are nuances or whatnot where that like, oh, this person really knows what's going on, or like they're hip with the beat or something along those lines. I have no idea. I'm just assuming that that's the case. All right, so a couple ones here. Being thoughtful, stalk down. Hitch goes through great lengths to set up this amazing date with Eva Mendes, and she ends up crying over her serial killer great-great-grandfather. One terrible cry acting, it was horrible. Like, I was convinced that she was going to do like a gotcha. I don't even know who the fuck that person is. Like, he's not related to me, as like a, way to show that like Hitch doesn't know everything. It turned out that she actually was supposedly crying, even though if you rewatch it, you'll be like, that's terrible. It was terrible crying.
Well, the reason she's crying like that is because it's supposed to be funny. It's not supposed to. If she
What's
were
funny?
literally crying,
What's funny?
Her like.
Honestly, I don't understand.
Well, he does this little romantic gesture, and all of a sudden she's like hate crying. It's not like this is the most romantic thing crying, which is what you think it is initially. That's the turn there, D-Man. I don't know. I don't want to explain the funny part because it's not funny.
None of it was funny. Literally none of it. Even when he's like, oh, I thought that would go different.
I thought it was funny.
I thought it would go differently. Who's crying over their great-great-grandfather being a serial killer? Like, I wouldn't give two fucks. Be like, oh, that's weird. It's like, oh, it's gone down in our family. It's a terrible disgrace. It's like, yeah, I mean, obviously it's not a good look for sure, but it's your great-great-grandfather.
If it's in your like family history and it's been talked about a lot, it brings up emotions, kid. I don't know. I don't have emotions, so I can't really relate to it. But.
It's like, oh, your great-great-grandfather like murdered co-eds. Like, wow, he's a terrible man. I'm glad I don't know him. Like, I'll move on with my life. Yeah, so being thoughtful, stalk down. Also stalk down his family. So, sorry, Dom Toretto. The bar scene, right? Hitch tries to get his buddy to cheat on his pregnant wife, who is also Hitch's sister, basically. I mean, it's definitely his sister. I mean, he basically tries to get his buddy to cheat on his wife. He's like, let me bring those girls over here. We can talk to them. And I know what Hitch is saying in that, like, just because they're attractive, you don't need to sleep with them or whatever. But the only reason why they want to talk to them is because they're attractive. It's not because they overheard something funny they said or, a TV show they watch. It's like, no, those chicks are really hot. I want to talk to them.
What's wrong with that? You go to an amusement museum, rather, I should say, and you're looking at the paintings, it doesn't mean you don't want to steal them. I mean, what are we doing here? You can admire some good looking people. That's not. There's nothing wrong with that.
Don't talk to the painting. And at first, I thought you were going to say amusement park, and I thought you were going to say amusement park and like tie in like the person dressed as Mickey Mouse into this, and I was waiting.
Wait, what?
You said museum, but at first you said amusement, so I was thinking you were talking like one of those people. Like, yeah, I don't want to take the head off of Mickey and kiss the person inside. Like, whatever. I don't know.
Well, I think you're going a little. You're taking that to the extreme.
So let's get into some love hates. Keith, what'd you love about Hitch? I mean, slow down. I know your heart's palpitating, but slow down.
You didn't like Albert Brenneman, a.k.a. Kevin James. I agree that some of the physical comedy was a little over the top. I mean, they were trying to show how goofy and, like, nerdy he is, which you took that off as, like, creepy, which I don't really understand at all. I think he's just, like, you know, kind of a dork or a
I didn't
nerd,
take the
and
physical
you're like,
comedy as creepy. Not at all. I thought Kevin James as Albert Brenneman was great. I thought he was a great character.
Oh, I think you said he was
No,
bad.
I think the character himself is good. I think the slapstick stuff is just not funny. Like, it's just straight out not funny. Like, oh, he squirted mustard on himself. He used Coca-Cola to wipe the mustard off. It's like,
I 100% agree. That's like written in. When he was improvising and doing stuff, I thought his facial expressions, everything was pretty hilarious. And I also thought...
Yeah, let's tone down the word hilarious, because Jesus Christ.
Whatever. You just don't... You're a hater. When he goes up to the artsy dude, he says, "What was your name? Eggnog." Yeah. that got me. And then he's like, "What do you think of the New York Jets stadium?" That is something I would do at a party if someone was being arrogant. So that's right up my alley. That's me. I loved it.
Like I said, it was good. I didn't think any of it was like, got him. You know.
I laughed. Okay. I don't know. Whatever. What about you? Do you have any loves?
No loves.
Oh my! Get out. Are you serious?
No, I have no loves. I'm sorry.
All right, well, I'm going to go through
Yeah, no, I want to have a conversation about them. So, yeah, go on.
I love the music selection. I thought
the music was terrible.
When I hear these songs on the radio or I hear them out, I think of Hitch, and I think, oh, wow, what a great song choice.
Actually, you know what I did love? I did love the opening of, like, showing who
great.
Hitch is, you know, like what he does and whatnot. I thought that was a good opening, good music. I dug it. So, yeah, the opening there... I thought the music that they used, like the actual music, like the songs, were good for the most part. The like orchestra music, I thought was not good, but I don't care that much about that. Like we've talked about before, it's like it can either make it great, it can't really ruin it. So it was fine for me.
The turn, I think you were asking me what the turn means. So
okay, because this is important because I'm wondering because you talk about this in the blog, and I'm wondering where the turn is in this movie. I need to be explained.
The speed dating portion. So I mean, I tear up every time I watch that. It's funny
because you're so bored.
Well, I mean, you just have.
You're so angry. I love this.
I mean, you just don't like rom-coms.
That's not true. I love rom-coms.
The formula. Do you know the formula for rom-com?
I do get it.
Okay, so you understand that at some point, and I'm being arrogant right now because I'm talking down to you, but I'm just so angry I can't not do it.
Please mansplain it to me.
Fuck you. All right, how about that? There's a certain point where everything comes to a head, where whatever is the divide between the two of them that hasn't been unfolded is then unfolded.
Gotcha.
So I gave you the examples were in Crazy Stupid Love, right? That's one of my on the list. That like meeting where they all have in the backyard.
Yeah,
do you remember that?
Of course I do. That's the number one rom-com movie of all time. That right there.
Well, yeah, I gave that an A+, that scene. So that is the best scene because every time you're waiting for that build-up and that if they hit that, if they do it well, then it makes the rom-com.
But that also has an actual like reveal to it where it's like, holy shit, like that's his daughter. Like, oh,
right. Fuck. But you can rewatch it and it's just as good.
Agreed. Because you now know that and you're waiting for that moment.
Right. But it doesn't necessarily need to be that. And the other good example is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. We both know what's going on. Oh, you're... I mean, so this is what I'm dealing with right now. Can I get a third party in here?
When Harry Met Sally? You know that movie? Have you seen that one?
Yeah,
okay. That's like number 2 rom-com of all time. That's like an actual rom-com.
I didn't even like that rom-com. So.
Okay.
I thought that, usually the rom-com, the characters are likable. The dude in that was I was like, this guy sucks. I don't want him to be happy. Like this guy's the worst.
No one's really likable.
I don't like him.
Like maybe Maybe
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher, R.I.P.
Anyways, that's the turn. I mean, if you didn't like it, you don't like it. But I think it was amazing. I thought it was emotional. It was funny. It was everything. It had everything in it. If you didn't like it,
Yeah,
then you're dead to me. that's it.
it's fair. I mean, I thought it was totally fine. The turn there is he explains to her pretty much that he likes her and also that she's not very good at her job because her source is terrible and she's she's trying to self-sabotage in this. And in my mind, okay, Hitch now has the high ground and she comes over to be like, my bad, whatever, and he just says he's not interested and they move on from there. And then when he realizes, okay, you know what, I need to like forgive and forget, I actually love this woman, like I should go and be with her, and he goes to her apartment. Why is she angry at him? Because he rejected her? Like, I get it. But at the same time, like, he's back now. And it wasn't like he was mean, really. He just said, like, no, I don't know if this is going to work, whatever the case is. And then she's like, no, I think, just like you said before, maybe we can just live alone and be happy or whatever.
Well, she's supposed to be the same as him. Right?
Yeah, no, I see
like,
that.
So, I mean, that's the reason is, like, she got rejected, and she's like, all right, now I'm back to myself of not opening up, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's the reason.
So,
I didn't love the ending. Let's be fair. That's one of my hates. It wasn't like the best ending. I still think the turn's A+, but whatever.
But question. Why is Eva Mendes so self-destructive when it comes to love? The only thing that...
Is that a serious question?
Yeah, it's a serious question. In this movie, not with Ryan Gosling there, who's a dream. But in this movie, they kind of pose it around the idea that she loves her sister and her sister almost died by falling through the ice. And so she can't become vulnerable to anyone else because she doesn't want to lose them. Is that it? Like, that's why she doesn't want to be loved and love?
I mean, I think it's more because, like, she's had bad past with guys. I mean...
But we don't know that.
She covers all these gossip columns where guys are cheating and doing all these bad things, and so she just assumes all guys are terrible, essentially, is what I garner from that. So she doesn't trust any guys.
Why is there a story about her sister drowning under the ice? It was like... It made zero sense to the plot otherwise. Or to anything. Not even the plot. It's just like...
yeah, I don't really know, because we don't meet her sister, do we? Or I guess we do at the end, but...
I thought the idea was that she didn't want to expose herself to more love because the fear from that, like that trauma, is still with her.
I mean, that's a good. I'm not a film connoisseur here,
but I just didn't know why her
I'm
motivation was that she didn't want to find anyone. She's like, oh, I'm too busy for a boyfriend. It's like, what?
Like I was saying, I think that she just doesn't trust guys, and that's also why she freaks out when she finds out that he's this guy that's helping people. What she thinks is like sleep with people and cheat and do all this, stuff behind their backs.
Perfect. Love it. So just say you're just like every other dipshit or something along those lines, as opposed to whatever the bullshit was that she said. I just, it was terrible. Okay. So I'm glad we got no clarification on that, but
I like how you like hone in on like the parts where I kind of like, I'm like, whatever, this is part of the rom-com formula, and you're like, well, I didn't really understand like why they were. I'm like, what are we talking about here? The best parts of rom-coms are the turn, the comedy, the lead up, and the character build up. That stuff's the best. When you're talking about
the best is the motivations behind the characters, which don't need to be intricate. It can be very surface level. Like Hitch's motivation, it was a 3-minute scene where he got cheated on by a girl that he thought was his girlfriend that wasn't, and that spurned him. I can understand that. Okay, so now...
Okay, let me give you a little hint on rom-com formulas. 90%, this is what they fall into. They're hardworking and they don't have time. That's it. And they don't have time for love. Or they're a guy that's a player. That's literally 90%. That's what every single rom-com is. Oh, this guy's just a player. He's not going to settle down. And it's a girl that's like, I'm too busy. I have, my professional life. That's every rom-com. This is what this is. There's a formula.
I don't like that formula. I'm against it. I'm anti.
Then you're not going to like rom-coms. I'm sorry.
I liked Crazy Stupid Love, though. I understood everyone's simple but wonderful motivations, and it was hilarious.
What was Ryan Gosling?
Yes,
what was Ryan Gosling?
A player, but it was funny. Like, he said funny things. He said, "Don't drink out of that straw. It's like you're sucking a little dick." I laughed out loud. It was funny. Simple.
You're
Don't-
a highbrow comedy
not.
guy. That's your
I
problem.
love
That's your
Chappelle
problem.
Show's one of my favorite things ever. This is one of the stupidest comedies
That's
ever made.
highbrow. That's highbrow.
God. Okay. What else? Did you love anything else? Please go on.
Oh, the 40-year-old virgin stole the hair pulling scene, the back
Fair
thing scene
fair.
from them.
Very fair.
And he also is saying funny lines after they rip it out. And it was released, I think, like 7 or 8 months early. I mean, they probably could have been filmed
Like
at the same
Larson.
time. But
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, go on your hates. Let's go.
Hates.
Let's hear 'em.
Casey. I'm not one to victim blame, but here we go. Honestly, it's her fault that she got played by Roy Munson's brother Vance or cousin Vance, whatever you choose. They met at a lingerie store and he said he was buying for his mom. Even if it's true, it's disgusting. So she's like, oh, he could have been buying a bathrobe. It's like, you go to like Home Goods or Macy's or something for that. So you already know the guy's a creep. Plus, we spent, 30 seconds with him and we realized how much of a douche this guy was. So she went out to dinner and then decided to sleep with him. It's like you said before, like these women have agency. Like you should realize that this guy's a dick. And yes, maybe he was able to like croon her or something, but it seems so difficult because he's so toxic as a person. It just doesn't make any sense that he would be able to have a whole night where he wasn't just blatantly a dick. So because of that, she screws everything up for Hitch and Sarah. So I'm out on that. Although I do like Casey, and I'm glad that she found love outside of that.
You don't know any examples in the real world where a dude that's seemingly somewhat of a dickhead but still pulls girls all the time?
Yes, but usually not. It's usually not someone who's like as nice as Casey is, in my mind. I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong, and I shouldn't be victim blaming here, but
Power suit, power tie, power steering kit. Like, what are you gonna do? He's clearly funny.
He doesn't know it though, so she probably thought, "Oh my god, he's so charming," but he was
he's-
serious.
yeah.
Like he was dead serious, and she was like, "He's so funny, he's so witty."
I like how this rom-com got us into some deep philosophical relationship.
What'd you hate?
I told you I didn't love the end. It was already sealed and delivered by that time, but the ending, I mean, it wasn't the best, but no rom-com endings are that great. They're usually always pretty a little bit over the top and cheesy. Allegra's reason for like loving him was kind of stupid, so I was like,
All this silly things
like-
he does? I thought that was nice.
see, I mean, we're just completely on the complete opposite.
I thought that
thing.
was nice because it's not all these fake people around. It's
Superficial
just,
things. Yeah,
she just
that's
likes
fair.
that he's himself and nerdy, and it's fun. She likes that about him. Although it's weird to go. Maybe the Swedish prince or whatever was the same way, but it just seems weird to me to go from like a playboy to him. But
But she was like, people used to always make fun of me for not being able to whistle in high school. I was like, all right.
well, I could see.
What school did you go to where there's a big whistling convention?
Honestly, the last half of this movie, as we were like trying to get through it,
Oh my god.
the wife and I sat on the couch and tried to whistle. We just sat there and tried to whistle. So hey, Hitch works. He did find love. That's another love. There we go. It worked for us.
I'm legit upset with you right now.
I know you are. I know you're laughing, but like you actually are mad.
If you don't like this movie, I just don't get it. I just don't like what else is a lie? That's my question.
So the Buddy Book Club lasted 50 episodes, and it was
50,
it was
51.
Hitch that brought us down.
Yeah, well, we knew it was going to eventually do it.
Hey, you wanted to do this, all right? You told me you wanted to do this, and you wanted to hear my perspective, so here it is.
Well, I thought they'd be good. I thought they'd be a good argument, rational. Just saying that's not funny is not. I don't care for it.
Exactly. I don't care for it. That's my point. Let's get into some studio notes. Hitch had a $55 to $70 million budget. I don't know where they're confused about the $15 million, but it made $370 million worldwide. So, Keith, a lot of people agree with you. That's for sure. $370 million worth of people. Cameron Diaz was originally considered for the role, Eva Mendes role, but the studio thought interracial couple like wouldn't play well or something stupid.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Terrible look.
Wouldn't Will Smith and Eva Mendes be
Yeah,
interracial?
exactly. Like, or a white person and a black person. I don't know. It's stupid. And also, they didn't want to do two black people because they thought it would like alienate the white audience. So fuck the white audience, alienate them. Who cares? Are you kidding me? Ugh. Patton Oswalt was considered for the Kevin James role, which would have been a different take on it. I like Patton Oswalt. I think he would have done fine, but Kevin James definitely did the best, I think, for
Oh, you
this.
came around on Kevin James. All right, there you
Yeah,
go.
just as the
I got one win. I got
he
one win
sold
from
that
this.
character. Like, I got that character because of him. I understood. He's the best character in the movie. Recast, rewrite, review. It's got a 69 critics and 62 audience on Rotten Tomatoes. I was really surprised 62. After I watched it, I looked that up and I was like, oh, awesome. This is barely certified fresh, as it should be. Brian Lowry of Variety wrote, considerably heavier on romance than comedy. Hear, hear. Hitch stitches together relatively few laughs, but generates enough goodwill and energy. I thought that perfectly encapsulated what the movie is to me.
I'm not doing a review. Most of the reviews were like, they're like, it's cookie cutter. It's like, do you know what a rom-com is? I mean,
Yes.
it's more the same. There was nothing that was outlandish.
So I'll agree with
I could have given.
I'll
one,
agree
but
with you there
there was
100%.
nothing, like,
So
outside
many of the reviews were like, "Oh, it's derivative. It's the same thing as every other rom-com." And buddy, that's not the problem. Like, there's nothing wrong with a rom-com that hits certain beats. So a lot of rock songs sound the same, but they're great. Just move on. I mean, that was Hitch. Keith, would you recommend Hitch? What do you think?
You know what? I had initially was going to temper my review. I think I was going to give and this is on a rom-com basis. I was going to give it a 3.75 buddies. I'm giving it a 4 out of 4 buddies now, out of principle and out of spite, and out of everyone out there who found this movie funny and good and has a sense of humor and believes in love. That's what this is about. 4 out of 4 buddies, 4 out of 4 stars. I apologize to everyone else out there for D-Man's whatever he's about to give right now.
What do you think I'm going to give?
2. 2 out of 4.
Oh, interesting. Because I originally had a 2. No joke. Last night we talked about it. I said, you know what, this is a 2. But after re-listening to it today...
You're such a psychopath that you listen to it only. That's an insane
After
movie.
re-listening to it, 1.75. It's just not even in the stratosphere of one of the best rom-coms. It's just not. So there was nothing that was enjoyable.
You've watched like 3 rom-coms in your life. What would you give Crazy Stupid Love?
Crazy Stupid Love 3.5. It's derivative for sure in the ideas, but it's an original structure with derivative ideas. But it's all the characters. There's so many characters. They're all fun. You're rooting for all of them, and there's actual laughs in there. Here I laughed like 3 times. I laughed, and I didn't even like laugh. I chuckled, and it was...
We're gonna do a comedy movie that you like, and I'm gonna shit all
good.
over
That's
it.
fine.
I don't care.
I'm not
how funny
shitting on
it
this
is.
to shit on you. I'm shitting on it because I just didn't like the movie.
It is. You know, this is my whole personality. I don't know. I don't get that. This is me.
When he had the allergic reaction, I enjoyed that. When she did the callback of like, oh, I know a great seafood restaurant, like, that was actually funny. I think that was about it.
I didn't laugh at either of those things.
Okay. We're just, you know what?
I've also seen it a lot of times.
We're different people. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, we still love each other. It's like politics. You're on one side, I'm on the other, but we can still go have a drink and shoot the shit together. Hitch, 1.75 buddies for me. 2 would mean that I would potentially watch it again. I wouldn't even listen to it again. Terrible movie. What do we got coming up next, Keith?
The third option, Vince Flynn. And then movie-wise or TV show-wise, we're going to do... We read the Daisy Jones and the Six, one of my favorites. D-Man probably hated it.
No, I love Daisy Jones and the Six.
We're going to watch the TV show.
I'm excited for that. Well, that was Hitch, and hopefully we'll have many more arguments to come. Probably not about Hitch, because I'm never talking about it again. All right?
You're sleeping on the couch tonight.
Deal. I'll bring you 4 coffees and then get excited when you want the tea.
Yeah, that'd be right. Again, that's me.
It is. Okay, that'll do it. Bye now.